But before I continue, one thing I want to talk about here that's really, really, really important, and it's something that that most people, when they try to animate special effects, they miss this. They start trying to animate a splash, and they start drawing little shapes. They start drawing shapes. Or they animate fire, they start drawing shapes. Or animating smoke. They start thinking about smoke as if it's a thing. Or water splash, it's a thing, and I'm going to move this thing and it's going to look like a splash. And these aren't, you're not animating things, you're animating energy. Okay? H2O, water, molecules, left to their own devices, water is flat and it does absolutely nothing. You have to add gravity, or you have to throw a rock in it, or you have to do something to that water, or heat it up, or push it with wind. Something has to happen to it. Without energy, water doesn't do anything. Absolutely nothing at all. So you're not animating water per se. Yes, there's water molecules, but when you throw a rock in, it creates a reaction of energy. There's energy pushing those molecules. Fire, it's interesting. They've created a fire in a vacuum, in zero gravity space. Fire just burns. If you have a fire burning with a good source of fuel, it burns as a perfect orb. It's not shaped like a fire. It's a perfect orb. It burns off in a perfect circular shape until you add hot air, cold air, gravity, wind, stuff like that. That's where you get fire shapes from. And all smoke is burnt particles being carried in hot air and cold air currents. Smoke doesn't do any, and you'll see if there's absolutely no wind, smoke will settle in a valley and just be flat. It doesn't do anything until you add some more cold air, hot air to it. So I really, really accentuate this over and over and over. It's about understanding energy, and once that energy is put into motion, it has a logical path that it has to follow. It has a life that it has to play out. Now, a lot of people that approach special effects from CGI point of view, they do understand this, because that's how you have to create effects. If you're using Maya, or if you're using Houdini, or any of the particle programs that are out there, you have inanimate particles, and you have to add forces to them. Of course, most CGI programs call the forces something weird, something based on physics or something, like they call them fields. In Maya, they call them fields. So you have fields, forces that you affect your particles with. And so it's quite understandable. You can see that when you work in 3D with special effects, that it's about energy. The problem there being, you have a set of energies. You have wind, you have noise, turbulence, you have these various things that you can affect your particles with. And then there's these mysterious things you can do called expressions, which are basically computer code, which direct your forces to work in a different way. The problem there being, you're using forces that were created artificially using a computer program based on some physics and some research, and they generally don't give you something really natural. Turbulence, which is a really interesting mathematical force in the computer world, it's interesting, but it doesn't give you the same kind of chaotic, fractal energy that reality does. So the more you've actually studied reality, the more you've actually studied special effects, the more you get that, the more you can play with those forces and affect your effects a lot more naturally. You with me still? Yeah. Okay.